Hello everyone and welcome to a new video. MC-Mura here. Today I'm gonna be talking about 5 attacks that I think need to be buffed in Street Fighter V. Obviously this is gonna be totally subjective and everyone will have their different opinions, but that is completely fine. I will first start with the first lady of Street Fighter and fighting games in general, Chun-Li, and that attack is the standing light kick. It was nerfed in the Season 5 update. The move itself wasn't specifically nerfed, but there was a system change that made light attacks weaker as anti-airs. So for example here, if Ryu is jumping, if you're using the standing light kick, you will either outright lose or best case scenario you will trade. But more than likely you're just gonna lose like that, right? It's like the jumping attacks have full immunity to lights as anti-airs. Obviously Shun have other options, right? Like you can do the back heavy kick. From a further range you can use standing heavy kick. These work. The issue is that it can get empty jumped, right? So this might happen and then you get punished. If the opponent knows the matchup, they will exploit this against you. So here you are supposed to use a standing light kick, right? Like if they are going for empty jumps, you use the standing light kick. If they are jumping with a normal, you use the back heavy kick. Unfortunately, this means that every jumping against Chun-Li is a 50-50, right? You're gonna second guess yourself on everyone. So what most Chun-Li players are doing nowadays is either just let them jump or go for air to airs, something like maybe like jumping heavy punch to airs them. This isn't ideal, obviously, because the standing light kick itself doesn't actually have other uses. Like the entire purpose of this attack was to be used as an anti-air. Obviously lights as anti-airs can get annoyed, but the move have literally almost no other functionality. It whiffs on crouching opponents, so it's not like a pressure move. Even in combos it doesn't lead to much. Like you can't combo it into medium kick Hakaratsu. You can kinda combo it into EX legs. It's 5 frame startup. The horizontal range isn't fantastic. The only time you might wanna use this attack is if you do something like 2 crouching light punches into it, right? And again, as you can see, this is even like kind of a finicky and annoying combo. The idea here is that you do 2 of these, right, into EX legs, or if you're really good with charge, you can do 2 of them into the light kick, into spinning bird kick. But this is like a really high execution combo. I don't expect like most of the player base to be able to do it. The move literally have 0 uses now. Like it doesn't exist. I don't love the idea of jabs as anti-airs either, but I do think this is like 5 frames. Cody have a 6 frame standing heavy punch that anti-airs. So I don't think this is a big deal in all honesty. Maybe what they could do is make it even slower but improve it as an anti-air, or like completely reanimate it and make it like Chun-Li's down forward light kick from Street Fighter 4. This attack either need to be massively buffed, like maybe improve the hitbox but make it slower, or repurpose it, because as it stands right now, it's totally useless. Speaking of being completely useless, this next one is the most useless special move in Street Fighter V. Despite it being really cool, it's completely useless. I'm sure some of you might not even know about it, know it exists, or have ever seen it. It's a total miss. This attack is Zangief's thunderstorm. It's done by doing a shoryuken motion with all punches. This is a kick parry, right? So for example here, if Cammy is doing her standing medium kick, Zangief does this and you get this badass animation. It's amazing. It's honestly one of the coolest looking moves in Street Fighter V. However, I lied. This is not a kick parry. This only parries attack like Cammy's standing medium kick. It parries very specific moves. If she is doing her standing heavy kick here, you get crush countered for your own trouble. It only parries the mid-hitting kick attacks, right? So you have to know specifically which one you are trying to parry, right? So if it is that difficult to land, it should be insanely rewarding, right? Well, it actually does good damage and stun. It's like 220 damage and 300 stun. That's actually really nice. The issue is that it leaves you full screen, right? And you will get left at a plus 26 advantage. So you don't really get to pressure here. You can like, if you dash after it here, you're only gonna be plus 1. Like at a perfectly timed dash, you're gonna be +1, so you don't really have enough frame advantage to play the whole grab or like meaty game, and you're way too far to do anything for the most part. The issue obviously is even more amplified by the fact that he have V skill 1. Like, if you can do this, why would you ever bother with thunderstorm, right? If you are in range to do this, just use the V skill 1 and you get the same effect for the most part, and it's a lot safer even, right? Maybe you can say that I don't lose the grey life, but whatever, it's honestly, like, this attack, I do think it should be repurposed. Like, maybe make it like a combo ender. If you don't want to have it a parry, make it a combo ender. Make it a complete kick parry where it counters every kicks. Then maybe it will be useful in some situations, right? Maybe against attack like this is axe kick. I don't know, maybe it's something that needs to be repurposed or retooled, because it is such a shame, because it's such a cool looking attack, and I hate to see it being as useless as it is. So obviously Oro is a character that just came out, so you may tell me that it is a little bit too early to include him in something like this, but the attack I wanted to talk about, in my opinion, is so unreasonably weak that I have to mention it, and I see it as being a really bad attack right now. This one is the light kick tatsu, specifically the light version, because I do think it is lacking. First of all, let's talk about its uses, right? First of all, you want to use it as a light confirm, so if you're doing like jab jab, you land it, and it is the hit confirmable option out of his crouching medium kick. If you try to do the EX kicks and do it as late as possible, right, it might not like connect, as you saw. If you're doing the latest possible cancel, it didn't combo, but the light version will always link. This is not bad if you have super and you manage to do this, right? Got the super confirm. In that case, it's alright. But otherwise, let me show you how bad it actually is. First of all, it doesn't leave you in a good situation. It leaves you at a +2 advantage and really far away from the opponent, and you don't get the knockdown, right? So the reward on hit isn't there. Even if you're doing it from like one jab, which you know will be as less of a pushback as possible, you're still not getting much out of it. You might tell me, alright Mura, but this is good with V-Trigger because you get to cancel it in V-Trigger 1, and with Tengu Stones it will lead to mad damage. Except it doesn't, right? If you happen to use it with V-Trigger 1 and you're not point blank, this will happen, right? You have to be point blank or doing a forward medium punch into it so that Oro will move forward so that the attack will land. This kinda sucks, and even with the Tengu Stones, you're not getting anything, right? Now let's compare this to the medium version. Medium version left me at a +9, while the other one left me at a +2. Now let's talk about having the 5 stones, because you might tell me, but you need to use the 5 stones to make it good, right? Again, +2. And the medium kick version you actually get to follow, right? Now this wouldn't be so bad if it wasn't awful on block, right? But this attack is -8 on block. -8 is unreasonably bad for how bad this attack is on hit. Like, it's super unrewarding on hit anyways. So why isn't this bad on block? Against characters with really good sweeps like Lucia, there isn't a special cancelable normal you can do that will make you safe out of her sweep, right? Even if I'm doing maximum range stuff, I still get swept back every single time. I don't understand it, to be honest. Like, if the move isn't supposed to be rewarding, if it's supposed to be a low, it's supposed to be a low reward option, it doesn't have to be -8. -8 is ridiculous, right? Let's, for example, talk about another character, someone like Lucia, who's not a fantastic character either. This is her low commitment, low reward option, and this is -4. That is fine. Make it -4. If it's not supposed to be very rewarding, make it -4. Make it -6 even. But -8 to me is just totally unreasonable and awful, to be completely honest. I know it's too early, I know it can be spaced against some characters, but in the grand scheme of things, I think it's super bad. The fourth attack is one that have been documented for a while to be really bad. but I haven't featured it or showed why it is so bad on this channel before, and this attack is Gil's Crouching Light Punch. This, in my opinion, is the most token 3-frame attack in the game. They just have it so they would say that Gil have a 3-frame, and that's pretty much it. Because as his 3-frame, it's awful, and let me show you why. First of all, let's talk about the options on hit, right? It's a 3-frame, but it is his only 3-frame attack, so you don't really get to follow up with anything after, and it doesn't chain into his other normals. Other characters, for example, like Kami, right? Her Crouching Light Punch will chain into other attacks. Sakura, her Crouching Light Punch will chain into others, Ryu, etc. But for Gil, nothing. So your only hit option is another one. And then obviously you get to cancel into Light Shoulder. Now the issue is that the range on it is so pitiful. As you can see, right, from like 1 square away, it's not even reaching. This means that if you're not point blank, good luck having this actually land, right? So that is annoying. The options, even on hit, like the special cancel option, you get Light Shoulder, which will leave you at a +1 on Quick Rise. This isn't great, and you don't get anything on a back rise, right? They are so far away from you getting anything meaningful. You can get an EX shoulder, so that's not terrible, but that's an EX bar, right? So that's kind of weak. You might think that, alright, maybe the options on counter hit, it's a 3-frame, you should use it to interrupt, right? Except the interruption options on counter hit are not great either. It will leave you at a +5, Gil does not have a 5-frame medium. So this means that you will likely get standing light kick. You have to consider that when you use a 3-frame, more often than not, the opponent isn't right on top of you. There will be a little bit of a distance between you and the opponent. So let's say that you got this, right? Then you get the medium shoulder tackle, which is not bad. And obviously you can get the like the target combo as well. The issue is, like I said, the range is finicky. You don't get the EX Fireball into V-Trigger activation. The target combo, if you're not super close, the second hit will whiff. The second hit of the target combo, I mean. Like, even if you're that close, it will still whiff. Let's say you're point blank, right? You landed this point blank. You still don't get the EX Fireball to combo, right? So you will never have a big swing comeback from your 3-frame, right? Now, with all of this being said, you might think, alright, maybe it's a good attack for pressure. Except that it's not, again, it's only +1, right? So this means that if your opponent have a 3-frame, you can't throw them after. So you can't even use it as a reliable tech throw, right? You're much better using the standing light kick, right? And even if you happen to get this to like counter hit, right? At best here you are gonna get this, which is totally lame compared to what you get with a standing light kick. Like with standing light kick, let me show you one last time. Like this is what you get with a standing light kick compared to the crouching light punch, right? So that's kind of crazy. The biggest issue, honestly, is not how bad the attack is, it's what the other characters get from their 3-frame. If we compare him to Thess, if we compare him to Karen, right? Let's take a look at Thess, for example. Let's say that we are from like even maximum range, right? Like something like this. Thess still gets the medium punch, heavy punch target combo, right? And obviously Karen and Mika and many other characters can get massive rewards from their 3-frame. I think for a character who doesn't have a reversal option like a DP, his 3-frame is unreasonably bad, and I would like to see it getting a little bit better. The final attack I wanted to mention belongs to Rose, and this attack is her forward medium kick. Rose in general have an issue with the mid-range or like this kind of distance. Obviously her mediums are kind of short, and forward medium kick is supposed to be the attack that you will want to use from this range. Her heavies have a lot of recovery, so like this standing heavy punch can get whiff punished very easily. So you will want to use attacks like your forward medium kick to contest this range. The issue is that the frame data on this forward medium kick is so bad on almost every single aspect. As you note, it is -6 on block. This means that some characters will punish you on block, right? Ken, Chun-Li, Mika, etc. Right? -6 is not that fantastic. At worst, or the best case scenario, I guess, is that the character that you're fighting will swing back at you with a heavy, and you will have to take it for the most part, right? So this kinda sucks. The issue is that it's not that rewarding on hit either, right? It's +2, but you don't really get anything here. There aren't any rewarding. You can't V-trigger cancel it. If you have V-trigger even, it doesn't lead to much, right? So it's not that great on hit. The issue is also the startup and the recovery. This is 10 frame startup, which is fine. For its range, that is okay. The issue is that this is 22 frames of recovery. 22 frames of recovery is as much as her standing heavy kick. So these two attacks have the same recovery on whiff. It's actually the same recovery as her standing heavy punch. So it's like if these two attacks have the same whiff recovery, why would I use it and just not use standing heavy punch, which I can hit confirm? The only reason is the extended hurt box on standing heavy punch. But if you're gonna be whiffing, at least whiff an attack that is somewhat useful on hit, right? Now, you might say they made this so that she can contest, or you have to use a spiral in these ranges. And yeah, spirals, they might be, you might be able to space them. More often than not, you're gonna get punished. So, and for the sake of comparison, let's take a look at a character that actually got the same buff recently. Let's take a look at Nash, right? His forward medium kick, which I do think is a little bit overtuned now, have way more range. It is the same startup, and look at the range and look at the frame data on block. It's -3, right? So Nash doesn't get punished. It's very hard to whiff punish. This attack is almost impossible to whiff punish in my opinion. Maybe like if you have like something like Rose standing heavy punch and perfectly spaced, maybe you can whiff punish it, but it's almost impossible to whiff punish. There is very little whiff recovery on it. And hey, would you check this out? Take a look at what Nash can get from this. Nash actually gets full combo conversions if you have V-trigger and use this move, right? Obviously, I'm not saying it should be as powerful as Nash's forward medium kick, because I do think Nash's forward medium kick is too much right now, but I do think either reduce the recovery or make it -4 on block, because -6 with 22 frames of recovery is a little bit too much, and I do think this change will help Rose a lot if they actually did this, considering that she is a character who struggles once people are very close to her, and her defense isn't that great either. If you have enjoyed this video, please leave a like or a comment, it helps the channel so much. I will be leaving a link to the Patreon page and the Discord server page in the description below. Thank you very much for watching and stay safe.